From the weather team you can trust, here's Chief Meteorologist Eric Snyder.
On this very night, back in 1991, exactly 35 years ago, this was underway, our ice storm of the century, as it would later be known. This image just encapsulates what a lot of the Rochester area looked like. We had 10,000 trees that were destroyed from this, 750,000 customers without power, some for weeks. $400 million in damage fell from this, with about 17 straight hours of freezing rain, and it was starting right about as we speak. And ironically enough, we actually have some freezing rain showing up on radar tonight, but it's not our issue. This has been more of a thing plaguing areas near and then especially just north and northeast of Syracuse. They've got shallow cold air that is still trapped there. It's not an ice storm, but still, I would prefer to not have to contend with that, and so far so good with that overall notion. Most of our precip has now pulled its way to the east. What we have on the back side of this is actually a relatively clear sky looking north and to the west, but a lot of low-level moisture that is still trapped at the surface. So patchy drizzle is still going to be a thing, and we got to watch what the air temperatures are going to do tonight with that. We're still hovering at about 35 degrees. The National Weather Service has kind of like a heads up out there for the better part of the overnight. In spots that drop down to 32, there could be some patchy black ice that shows up. I'm not convinced we're going to end up getting quite to 32 degrees, at least not for a while in the Rochester area. And by the time that we do, hopefully the dry air kind of gobbles up a lot of any remnant moisture on the roads, and fingers crossed that precludes any issues out of this. Any leftover morning low clouds and fog will mix out going into the afternoon. It may take some time, but we're going to get there. Skies will go mainly sunny, which will allow our temperatures to surge into the 40s, maybe a few spots knocking on the door of 50 degrees. And then we say, no, spring, you can't come in just yet. We gave it like a one-day affair out of this, back toward the cooler stuff into Thursday. I want to watch this until late Thursday going into the evening. This is a lot like what happened tonight. We've got another slug of moisture that will lift its way northward. What we've seen tonight with some of our higher resolution models is more of a questioning of, do we have, again, a very narrow area where briefly that air temperature is right around freezing, that at onset could support some limited freezing rain and ice concerns before eventually the rain just wins out. So we know it's going to be a short-lived deal right now, but if we trend another degree or two colder, I'm not going to love the way that could play out. We're not at that point right now, but something we're going to end up watching. By Friday, you're back close to 50 degrees. Now we're kind of letting spring in for more of an extended weekend stay out of this. Forecast rainfall as we continue to move forward with that late Thursday system. Think about a quarter to a half an inch. Here's your pattern. High pressure across the southeast U.S. That buys us a record-challenging start to the weekend, and it could buy us another record-challenging middle part of next week, too. Teresa loves her midweek warm-ups. We might be able to grant that going into next week. I've got highs on Saturday approaching 70 degrees. The record on Saturday is 68, so I think that one's in jeopardy. You can do about 70 again by Tuesday and Wednesday. Pretty wild.